Okay, I want to go on a rant today. So, the subject today is going to be Phil Hellmuth. This is not going to be a popular piece. I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback for it. For whatever reason, there is a poker community of really haters for this guy. And I don't know what compelled me today to make this video other than this is an opinion piece. And maybe it's something for you to think about if you're out there and you're piling on. Now, one thing I want to get straight. Phil does not know I'm making this. He hasn't asked me, for all of you guys that are going to be out there saying I did this or Phil asked me to do it. Not at all. He'll see this maybe the same time you see it. But I just felt compelled to do this. And I'll be really honest with you. I felt really bad for Phil yesterday at his appearance at the bike. What I think's happening to Phil is he's succumbing to your pressure. Now, we all know that live streaming poker is a different animal. And you guys, yeah, you do. You want to see deep stack. You want to see crazy players. I'm not going to name any names in anything I say here. You guys could all fill in the blanks. But you want to see players deep stacked, VPIPs at 90, 80, 70, whatever it is, you want to see blood. I get it. Being a show producer of Hustler Casino Live, I couldn't agree with you more. I understand that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And awesome to the players that will adhere to that and have that style. They're making great poker content for the poker community. But let's get something straight. Phil is probably not ever going to be that guy. And here's the thing. And I told Phil this. This is something that I told Phil, and I hope he listens to this. I don't think he needs to be, unless he wants to be. Now, I did send Phil a text yesterday. I'm not going to say what was in the text, other than I just said, Phil, play when you want, play who you want, and buy in for what you want. And now, if that doesn't translate into views for Phil on live streams, then so be it. Phil, if they have you on the show, play. If they don't. But I'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about this for a second. And I'm not going to name any names, but there are people out there right now that are making fun of Phil. They're trolling him. And now let me tell you this. I'm the first one to understand why Phil gets himself in the line of fire. And I've had this conversation with him before. I don't think Phil should argue with you. I don't think he should fight this, whether it's an influencer who has a big mic or if it's just somebody with a keyboard. I think it's futile. I don't think he should do it. I think it creates more blood in the water for you all to go after him. And then there's a lot of poker players that are younger. And I don't think you really understand what Phil has done for poker. Now, I'm not doing this because I want Phil on my show, because he comes on the show anyways. And you all don't really want to watch him on the show sometimes, so there's no plus EV in this for me. I'm not getting anything for it. Like I said, I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for it because it's very popular right now in the poker community to pile on people and especially Phil, because Phil has built a brand. It's called the Poker Brat. That's for a reason. Yes, Phil's very emotional. Yes, Phil on the bike yesterday, probably could have handled it a little differently. Still should quit if he wants to. It's his money, it's his life, and he doesn't have to show up to a stream if he doesn't want to. But I understand why he puts himself in the line of fire by some of the things he says. He has a very big ego. He'll be the first to tell you that. He may not, but I know he does. And he gets his feelings hurt, I believe, because he's done so much for poker and accomplished so much. So for those of you who really don't know, and or maybe don't pay attention, or maybe don't care, I'm going to give you his stats. And I'm doing this. These are a combination of things that you can find on the internet and conversations that I've had with Phil on my podcast and off screen. Okay. As you guys already know, this is the most common one. Phil has won 16 WSOP bracelets. He's made over 50 WSOP final tables. He's made 8 final tables in the last 15 months. He's the only player to win the WSOP main and the WSOPE main. He's got somewhere in the neighborhood of $28 million in cashes over his career. And because of his poker accomplishments, and by the way, Phil was one of the poker players back in the past who saw poker and TV combining, him and Mike Sexton. I'm not saying Phil created it. I don't know what his role is, but I know for sure he was one of the first players that understood that poker could be big, and a lot of players out there that are watching could have sponsorships, and a lot of people laughed at him. But it was true, and it came true. And because of Phil's accomplishment and probably crazy personality, he's built a big brand. And because of that brand, he has made, seriously, and this is from, like I said, my poker podcast, interviewing him and talking to him off camera. He's literally made millions of dollars by stock that has been given to him. He's on numerous, I think like up to 20 advisory boards just because of his name. That's it. He promotes, his name promotes businesses, and a lot in the poker community especially. He owns percentages in card rooms. The Aria Casino has sponsored him for over 12 years. It's very lucrative. He's wrote a best-selling book, Play Poker Like the Pros. And believe it or not, Phil has won on streams. And I believe from his stats, it's like somewhere between 30 out of 32 before he just got slaughtered here. And yeah, you don't like watching his style, you don't like short buying, and probably shouldn't play. I'm not disputing that it's okay. You should watch what you want to watch, and whatever the market bears is what should be. But when you hear this, how are whoever's watching here, if you are someone that has taken to a keyboard or a mic, have you accomplished that? I don't know. I think we should, even if, and again, I do understand that Phil puts himself in the line of sight when he says the thing he does. I'll tell you this, when somebody trolls him or doesn't say he's good at this or good at that, Phil should just smile and point up at the scoreboard on his stats. He doesn't have to be the best cash poker player in the world. I don't think he is. I don't care if he is, but he's a Hall of Famer in the poker community. He has done as much or more for poker as anybody. And hate to say it, you may not know this because of what you see on screen, he's a fucking nice guy. So I just want to throw that out there. Hey, look, if you want to take to the keyboards or the mics, do it. You know, if you make your name for yourself by putting other people down, do it. Or if you just have fun doing it, I guess do it. But keep in mind when you're doing it, if you can compete with what's on this paper, then maybe you deserve to. And if you can't, I don't think you deserve to, but because this is a free country and it's free speech, you're able to do it. Why am I doing this? I don't know. I think I'm doing this because it bugs me. I think I'm doing this because, you know, I know what Phil's feeling right now, and I know why he did what he did. First of all, I thought he played horribly. But I think the reason he played horribly is because of the pressure he's under. He's under pressure because everyone's trolling him about playing deep stack, that he sucks, he's not enough action, and he just did some things that just weren't Phil-like. And he's never going to win like that, and I don't think he should do it. And that's why my text to him was like, play when you want, play who you want, and buy in with what you want. And if the market bears you being on the show, great. If it doesn't, don't. Go do your thing. You know? Yeah, it just is one of those things where, you know, when I saw what happened yesterday, it kind of hurt me. Because this is a good guy that succumbed to the pressure and wasn't in the lane he should have been in. And do I think Phil could play deep stack? Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to, he could. But honestly, Phil doesn't want that kind of variance. It's not who he is. He shouldn't succumb to the pressure. And if he wants to, then he should. But I wanted to put this opinion piece out, this rant, just in case you're going to the keyboard or you're new to poker and you're jumping on the bandwagon. When you can put up these stats over a lifetime and be worth millions and millions of dollars for one reason, poker, then maybe you have something to say. But if you don't, I think it's reckless and doesn't make sense to me. There's a human being behind that name. And yeah, this is kind of becoming my thing. So I wanted to give my opinion. I know I'm going to take a ton of heat. I know people are going to assume Phil put me up to this. Haven't even spoke with him. I know that people are going to disagree with it and are still going to do their thing, and that's fine. But I feel better by saying it. And Phil, if I could give you advice, don't snap back. Don't answer back on the tweets and the trolls and the memes. And if you get in an interview or you have a chance to get a mic in front of you, don't talk about all your accomplishments. Because listen, success speaks for itself. Smile. Know that you have made more money in poker and a bigger name than almost anyone in the poker industry. Know that you have accomplished that by your stats. And something else I said in the text, and I hope it's okay to say, is a lot of people that are trolling you can't even pay their mortgage. Don't even have $1 million, let alone $100,000, which is okay because honestly, money isn't everything, and I don't think it is. But if we're talking about stats, this is what we're talking about. They don't have, some of them, the family you have, and a long-term marriage where you're completely happy together and you have a great family. So, dude, stop it. Stop snapping back and answering back and defending yourself and trying to be something you're not. You've accomplished some amazing goals. You're a Hall of Famer, and you're blessed beyond belief. Block it out. And that's what I have to say, and I felt compelled to do it, so I'm doing it. Envy out.